Hello everyone, welcome back. My name is Hunter here at Weather on the Go. On this Tuesday, August the 12th, 2025, this is your evening update. We're going to be following up on the potential for severe weather as we go through this week with damaging winds, large hail, and tornadoes in the forecast. We're also going to be looking at Tropical Storm Erin that spins across the Atlantic Ocean is likely to strengthen to a hurricane, and how strong will it get? We'll answer that question in the video, so make sure to follow along. We'll also look at the long-range forecast later on as well. So, if you are here, make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. We do straightforward, accurate, and reliable life-saving weather coverage across the United States, southern Canada, and the tropics. And we do daily videos, in fact, 2-a-days when it's active, and such as today and future days. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, like it, give it a thumbs up, and share it with a friend, family member, and on social media. We need more likes, folks, so we can get this information out to more people. Looking here at our temperatures that we achieved this afternoon, and it was a hot one across the Pacific Northwest with triple-digit temperatures all the way up into Washington State, Oregon, and Idaho. And as you could expect in the desert Southwest, widespread triple-digit heat there. And then 90s from Texas all the way up toward the Ohio River Valley, parts of the Northeast, even Maine seeing mid-90s this afternoon where record-breaking temperatures did occur. Coolest air is up in the upper Midwest today where we saw mid-70s and a little bit lower of humidity, which is a welcome change up there. Here are our low temperatures as we start the day tomorrow on Wednesday morning, August the 13th, and it's cooler today, mid-70s. You could only imagine as we start tomorrow, it will start cooler, upper 40s perhaps up here into northern parts of Minnesota. In contrast, much warmer to the southeast into the 70s, so another muggy start to the day down there. And looking at our temperature trends going through the rest of this week between Wednesday, August 13th and Sunday, August 17th, straight through the weekend, warmest of our temperature anomalies are favored for the Central Plains and then eastward into the Ohio River Valley. So tomorrow, afternoon highs back into the triple digits and 90s all the way up into the Pacific Northwest and parts of the Rockies. A little bit cooler still near the Great Lakes of Lake Superior and Lake Michigan with temperatures ticketed into the middle and upper 70s. That warmth that's in the Pacific Northwest will propagate eastward into the plains as we go into Thursday. Friday starts to warm up there into the Midwest, and then by Saturday, Sunday, we start to see that again with widespread heat across the central and the south central United States. That heat is correlating to some severe weather. Even this evening, we have a marginal risk of severe weather in dark green, where isolated severe thunderstorms will be possible from the UP of Michigan there near Marquette, all the way down toward Green Bay and Madison, Wisconsin. And then another area from Lansing, Grand Rapids, Detroit, down there toward Toledo, Fort Wayne and Indianapolis, and extending in towards Champaign-Urbana, and they're in eastern Illinois. And the main threat is going to be for 60-mile-per-hour caliber winds. Quarter-size hail mostly confined to areas there in the UP of Michigan down into eastern Wisconsin, and thankfully the tornado threat is less than 2%, meaning that tornadoes appear unlikely through the rest of today. Now that changes tomorrow. We have a little bit of an upgrade from when we talked earlier today. We have a yellow area in South Dakota, that's southern South Dakota, where scattered severe thunderstorms are now possible. And in the dark green, even extending down into northern Nebraska, we have an isolated threat for severe weather there as we go into the day on Wednesday. And it does include the threat for tornadoes in the green into southern South Dakota, north portions of Nebraska. That is a 2% chance of a tornado within a 25-mile radius of any given point in and around this area. We're going to start in the central U.S. first. We're going to go into the eastern U.S., talk about that second, and the western U.S. third. In the blue, that is your clearing. The white is cloud cover, and then we have the green. Obviously, that's the rain and thunderstorms. So, scattered thunderstorms mainly along and east of the Mississippi River here this evening or south of Kansas, and you can see that here in some bubblers trying to pop up at the heat of the day. Mostly sunny skies prevailing, though, across the northern United States toward the Dakotas and Nebraska. That will continue. A wonderful sunset ticketed for the upper Midwest here this evening. And then as we go into the start the day on Wednesday, very quiet outside of a shower or storm, either in the western Dakotas or down near the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex heading up there toward Texarkana. A lot of us are going to be dry though, and then as we go through the rest of the day, we could be seeing another storm cluster. This is the one we're watching late afternoon and into the mid-evening hours on Wednesday tomorrow. That could pose a risk for winds over 60 miles per hour, some quarter-size hail, and even an isolated tornado threat across the majority of South Dakota and into northern Nebraska, and that will go up through the midnight time frame before we start to lose the intensity and coverage of those storms. In fact, it's going to be hit or miss with the rainfall here in the central U.S. going up through 7 a.m. on Thursday morning, August 14th, where we could see a spot or two getting a quarter, half an inch of rain. A lot of us, though, will remain dry as we go through Thursday morning. In the eastern U.S., we have a lot of pockets of showers and storms here anywhere you look at it, from the Great Lakes down there into the Ohio Valley, Tennessee Valley, and southeast. I guess the driest of areas are up here in Maine, and that's where the sunshine is heating our ground. And that's why we saw record highs today. And as we go through the rest of this evening, a lot of these storms are going to continue across the Ohio Valley, for Indiana, for Kentucky, Ohio, and West Virginia, and then much further south toward the Carolinas as well. And that will take hold as we go to start the day on Wednesday, probably needing an umbrella anywhere from eastern Ohio into West Virginia near Charleston, down there toward the western Carolinas near Asheville, for example. May need an umbrella if you're heading off to work and or school. The school season is starting as well. And then as we go into the afternoon on Wednesday, numerous storms developing off the I-95 corridor, Boston, Hartford, Providence, New York City, Baltimore, and Philly, all the way down to Washington, D.C. So a pretty noisy afternoon and evening expected, a rush hour there as we go through Wednesday evening. Looking at quite a bit of rainfall. Again, this map looks a little bit more ominous than it really will be. There will be pockets of dry weather here where you see the lighter lime green colors, but there will be pockets that could see over an inch of rainfall, and that could include parts of the I-95 corridor going through 7 a.m. on Thursday, August 14th. Western U.S., lots of sunshine prevailing out here today. A couple storms, though, firing up near Montana and the Wyoming state line. And then once we go into Wednesday and Wednesday afternoon, we're going to see more scattered coverage of storms across the Rockies, and this could lead to some heavy downpours at times, but severe weather is not expected across the West as we go into tomorrow. A lot of us, though, again, will remain dry. The wettest areas will be portions there of southeastern and central Arizona, in and around the Phoenix area. We'll keep an eye on that. And then over here toward Albuquerque and even southern New Mexico, seeing some of that rainfall going through 7 a.m. on Thursday, August 14th. Let's look at Thursday, August 14th. Another area in yellow, that means scattered severe thunderstorms are possible from eastern North Dakota into northwest Minnesota. That is where we could see damaging winds in excess of 60 miles per hour, quarter-size hail, and an isolated tornado threat there Thursday afternoon and evening. And it is because we have a lot of storm energy building up there. You can see the purples there across the Dakotas, Nebraska, and western Minnesota on Thursday afternoon, over 4,000 joules per kilogram. And that instability gets even higher Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You can see that charcoal color starting to show up, which is extreme levels of storm energy. That means thunderstorm complexes are going to evolve across the northern U.S., and they could produce all modes of severe weather, damaging winds, large hail, tornadoes, and even locally heavy rainfall. Pretty strong low pressure system up in Saskatchewan Thursday morning at 997 millibars will swing a cold front through the northern United States and bring a focus for showers and storms Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And again, these storms will have the potential to become severe and produce some locally heavy downpours. And you can see that area and that corridor, again, from the Dakotas, mainly South Dakota too, but over into Minnesota, northern Iowa, Wisconsin, and eventually over in toward Michigan as well. And this takes you through Monday morning on August 18th. Let's turn over and talk about Tropical Storm Erin, which was fighting dry air, continues to fight a little bit of dry air here into the main development region of the Atlantic Ocean. And you can see it right here. There is some convection that has definitely perked up over the past couple of hours. And the National Hurricane Center in Miami, Florida is still dubbing this as a tropical storm. It's really remained stagnant, maintained in its intensity as it moves quickly to the west at 22 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour, is likely to become a Category 1 hurricane by 2 a.m. on Friday morning, and then a major hurricane by afternoon on Sunday as a Category 3 hurricane to the north of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. So let's look at this here, and you can see the system. Again, you blink, you miss it. It's in the central main development region here of the Atlantic Basin, and it has a long way to go until it reaches near the Leeward Islands, the Greater Antilles, the Bahamas, and even Bermuda areas. So a lot of dry air is preceding the system, which is kind of choking off some of the convection in the short term, but the drier air should thin out as we go towards the next 24 to 48 hours. So I expect some more development into a stronger tropical storm than it is right now. And eventually, again, by Friday, this will become a Category 1 hurricane. Now, as it moves further west, it will also be encountering a more thermodynamically favored environment for rapid intensification into the southwest Atlantic Ocean. You can see all these beige colors. Those are water temperatures well into the 80s and even low 90s. And here's the intensity guidance for the system. A lot of the model members are showing this becoming a Category 2, even a Category 3 system, and on the high end, potentially even a Category 4. So a major hurricane is looking more and more likely here by the hour and more likely by the day with this system. Here's the latest with the European ensemble members. A lot of these are showing the track moving north of the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Still got to watch, though. There's still some pretty strong members getting close to the eastern Bahamas, and a lot of the members kind of between the Bahamas and Bermuda, as a stronger system will tend to bend further to the north. Now, looking here at the GFS ensemble, very similar. There's some stronger members down there toward the Bahamas, but the majority of them bend them north there toward, Bermuda, but in between Bermuda and the Bahamas is still a likely scenario. Individual models, deterministic models, the European, you can see, is moving this again between Bermuda and the Bahamas. The GFS model is doing the same thing as well. And guess what? The Canadian model does the same thing. So our confidence is growing that this is going to bend north, but we still can't discount there's still some uncertainty that this could push just a smidge further west and affect more of the Bahamas, but we'll keep an eye on that. An eastern United States landfall, though, is becoming more unlikely by the hour and more unlikely by the day, but still is possible. So we'll keep a very close eye on that. And in the short term, especially by the weekend, we're going to be looking at some higher wave swells just to the north of Puerto Rico, which could lead to some significant rip current and rough surf risks. So make sure you're keeping an eye on the forecast there in Puerto Rico and the Dominican Republic. If you have any family or friends down there for, say, vacation, for example, keep a very close eye on them down there. Long range forecast between the Monday 18th and Friday the 22nd of August next week. Heat will return across the Rockies and even into the southeast. Going to be pretty warm. A lot of us are going to be above normal in the United States and active across the western plains and the southeast. Some of this could be in the form of severe weather, driest areas there in the northeast and into the Intermountain West. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that as we go into the long range. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed this straightforward, accurate, reliable, and life-saving weather coverage as we do it across the United States, southern Canada, and the tropics, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up. We need more likes to get this vital information to more and more people. Share with a friend, family member, and on social media, and we'll be back tomorrow with another update. Thank you all for watching. Thanks for the support, everybody, and I hope everyone has a wonderful rest of the Tuesday out there.